All eyes, of course, being in eThekwini Municipality, the metro today, after Monday's debacle, councillors making a second attempt to nominate and elect the metro's new mayor. We understand they have nominated. ANC has got its candidate Mxolisi, Kaunda. The DA has got its candidate Nicole. You'll remember that Monday proceedings were disrupted by disgruntled ANC councillors. The governing party supporters also stormed the sitting after a dodgy power failure caused chaos. Dasen Thathiah, senior reporter here at ANC, is inside there covering the story for us. Dasen, good afternoon. From the visuals that we're seeing that are coming in live, it looks like voting is beginning or about to begin. I see people standing and queuing.
That's right, Dan, but not without drama that preceded it, and that's because both the EFF and the IFP insisted that a head count be conducted first, because they were not happy with the numbers that were taken and put up on the screen as per the previous meeting, and those that would be eligible to vote now. They wanted a head count. So in doing that, they had actually confronted one of the IEC officials here. An IFP member went up to the stage just to use the mic there and try to draw the attention of the speaker. It's already been quite a boisterous meeting, as the members that were here raised their concerns before we even got to the point of the voting. And I'll just walk you around the room to give you a sense of what it looks like now as the members here get ready to vote. One of the main points of contention here was the addition of a member by the ANC to the executive committee. And that was because the ANC said that one of its members that it had originally submitted in its list had resigned. The Speaker then confirmed that he had received this resignation, but the opposition parties like the DA and the IFP, including the EFF, said that at this late stage that should not be allowed, and they certainly are not allowed to add that name onto the list now. But under the legal advice of the municipality's legal advisor, the Speaker then did rule that they could in fact do that. And it came, I guess, as something of a surprise to some of the members that were sitting here today. The name that the ANC then submitted was that of Philani Mavundla, who comes from the ABC party. And the DA had previously alleged that the reason why they had put in Mavundla's name there was so that they could get the 2 votes that his party could bring here, which could assist the ANC in retaining its mayorship in the eThekwini municipality.
Very interesting developments there. But unlike what we saw on Monday, Dasen, looks like this time around there will be voting inside that venue.
That's right. Certainly a lot more peaceful in that sense. I mean, minus the disruptions that you would have seen on Monday. So at the very least, what I think everyone here had come here for seems to be getting underway. And that's primarily the election, the nomination first that we've seen, and then the election of both the mayor and the deputy mayor here, as well as the chief whip. So fortunately, this is now taking place. It means that hopefully as the afternoon progresses, we should have some kind of outcome there. We know that the IFP had reneged on its arrangement, I'll call it that, not a coalition, but an arrangement with the ANC. So that certainly changed the dynamics there. The EFF has also expressed its concerns, and it has said categorically that it wants to make sure that the ANC gets out and that the ANC is no longer governing the eThekwini municipality. So if you look at the numbers, though, of the smaller parties versus those bigger parties like the EFF, the DA, the ANC, the IFP, it looks like it will be pretty close. But as we know from that arrangement with the IFP and the ANC, I guess there is no way of saying how this voting is going to turn out in the end.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the nominees for mayorship or for the mayoral chair. We've got Mxolisi Kaunda for the ANC accepting his nomination. We've got Nicole from the DA accepting the nomination. Very interesting that in another big metro, the DA is gone with a woman leader to be nominated as mayor. I mean, they were successful in Ekurhuleni and in Johannesburg here in Gauteng. I don't know much rather about Nicole but Mxolisi Kaunda has been around for the ANC in eThekwini Metro.
No, he has been, and although he didn't get to serve a full term, nevertheless, he has been here for, I think, just about over 2 years. I stand to be corrected. And Nicole Graham, you mentioned her. She has been a councillor at the eThekwini Municipality for a while now, quite a vocal one, particularly on issues that have been affecting the community. As you mentioned, it is an interesting choice that they've made there. And it may have almost been a very deliberate decision. I mean, she is the leader of the DA in the eThekwini region, and it would be for that reason why she would have been elected or nominated into that position. There were only 2 nominations, as you said, and that was of Mxolisi Kaunda as well as Nicole Graham. And in fact, we had a short chat with Mr. Kaunda earlier. He was looking quite relaxed when we saw him outside. I didn't get to engage with him much. He is somewhere at the back of this conference center, so I'm hoping that we do get to sneak in a word with him before those results are out.
Yeah, and by the way, just that head count that the IFP and the EFF were demanding earlier before voting started, did it take place? Because on the other issue of that additional name the ANC wanted to add, the gentleman from the ABC, that was approved. What about the head count?
Well, what they then eventually agreed on was that the Speaker had said that there were officials that were almost situated along these aisles. You'll see how everyone is located here. So they're located or seated by party, with the IFP here to my right, Action SA is next to them, and then the EFF on the other side, DA after them. And what's happened is that there were officials in almost each of these aisles that were doing this count and then collating that information, ultimately leading to those numbers that we saw on the screen. The ANC had about 95 members, according to those numbers on the screen. As I said, they had mentioned the resignation of one of those members, an EXCO member, and that it had just happened now within the past 2 days. There are questions over exactly how that transpired and why it transpired. You would have also heard the IFP's Mdu Nkosi threatening legal action over that decision that was taken by the Speaker in allowing that new addition to the list. So we'd have to see what happens there, but I could see from the the exchange between Nkosi and the Speaker Thabani Nyaose earlier, it seems like there's going to be a lot that's going to follow the proceedings today, no matter what happens here in the next few hours.
Yeah, well, we still have you connected, Dasen, inside the venue where voting seemingly has begun. Let's just remind our viewers what happened earlier during this council meeting to elect a new mayor. There was that bit of a snag, and the councillors were at loggerheads about the ANC's request to add a new member or another member to replace one who had resigned. Let's take a listen.
The event of a vacancy arising on the executive committee, the political party or political interest to which the seat was allocated to will, through an authorized representative, appoint a councillor to fill a vacancy.
Speaker.
Councillor Nicole is on the floor.
What Mr. Mhlongo is saying and what the ANC is saying are two different things.
Please, I'm being disturbed. I want to listen. Please.
The ANC are saying two different things themselves. Half of the ANC are saying the process wasn't concluded, and half of them are saying someone's resigned. Mr. Mhlongo then comes in and says, if there's a resignation, you have to fill the vacancy. If there's a resignation, Speaker, you have to stop that person screaming like that. It's completely ridiculous. If there's a resignation, where is the resignation? Has your office received a written resignation from a member of EXCO?
Yes, we did.
You've received a written resignation. Can you produce it?
Sorry, Nicole.
Yes,
sorry, Nicole.
The letter is here.
I'm not your friend. Relax.
Yes, there is a letter.
Nicole.
You've got a handwritten note.
Nicole, you are not a
and
force.
that constitutes.
You are not a force.
Can we see that?
No time.
You've got a handwritten note.
Order, Speaker.